Right. Okay. Without no further delay, we'll just start. Why convolution neural networks? Later on, we'll be discussing what are convolutional neural networks. But now we have to discuss why we are going for this concept. So previous to convolution neural networks, okay, we have discussed about feed forward neural networks, right? So in feed forward neural networks, we also call them as multi-layer perceptron, right? So we have some input layer, okay, and then we have some hidden layers, and then we have an output layer. This is what we have discussed about the feed forward neural networks, right? Okay, but now we'll see the present day scenario. So what kind of problems exist in the present day scenario? Why we have to go for convolutional neural networks? Why having feed forward neural networks itself is not sufficient for solving our daily life challenges which we have in our present computer science field? Okay, so now let us first move to this slide. What is this diagram? Which type of neural network is this one?
With multiple hidden layers,
Multiple hidden layers, and we have
input layer and output layer.
output layer. What is this complete network called as?
Multi-layer perceptron.
Multi-layer perceptron, and it is also called as feed forward neural network, right? This is
Yes,
what
sir.
we have discussed in our previous unit. In the complete previous unit, we have discussed about the feed forward neural network only, where it has an input layer. The inputs are fed to the first hidden layer, and from the first hidden layer, it is again fed to the second, and so on. And finally, we will be getting output in the output layer, right? Okay. Next, coming to representing an image in a computer's memory, we have different ways of representing. The main thing is that we have two types of images. The first type of image is a grayscale image, and the second type of image is a color image, right? So we shall see how a digital grayscale image is represented. So a digital grayscale image is represented in the computer in the form of a matrix. Okay, that matrix is called pixels matrix. Okay, so every pixel in a given image is represented by a matrix element, and these matrix elements are taken from the set of integers 0 to 255. Okay, so what does this 0, 1, 2, so on up to 255 represent means? 0 represents the complete black colored pixel, whereas 255 represent the complete white colored pixel. Okay, so when we are increasing from the lower number to higher number, the image value, that is that pixel value, will be changing from complete black color to complete white color. Okay, so what does this mean is that the grayscale image is having a single value for each pixel. See, whatever pixel you take in the shown image, every pixel is going to have only a single value. Okay, so this is about a grayscale image. Next, coming to the color images. What about color images? Color images are generally represented by the light intensity values for RGB. We generally represent the color image in the form of RGB, right? So R means red, G means green, and B means blue. That is, each pixel value of a color image will have three values. But coming to the grayscale image, each pixel value we have only one value. But coming to the color image, each pixel value will have three values. Okay, so these three values are called triplets, and the triplet value also ranges from 0 to 255. So 0 means that particular color component is not present. 255 means that particular color component is fully present. Let us take an example. If you have a pure red color pixel, then the RGB value for that red color pixel is 255 0 0. Why?
Yes, sir. Pure color depends on the full value of Swiss. If it is
Yeah,
255, it represents the pure color of red. As it is
pure color
pure
of
red,
red.
there the other values will be 0.
0 obviously. So green value is 0 and blue value is also 0. And for a pixel which is represented for pure white means it will be given as 255, 255, 255. And a pixel in a given picture with complete black color is represented with 0, 0 and 0. Okay. So this is how we represent a color image using the triplet. Okay. Now let us take an example of a 400 by 400 pixel image, and it is having a dimensions that 400 into 400 into 1. So this dimensional representation is for a grayscale image. So for a grayscale image with an image of 400 by 400 pixels, the representation is 400 into 400 into 1. Why? Grayscale has only one channel, or it has only one representation of a pixel value. So for grayscale image we use 400 into 400 into 1. And at the same time for a color image we represent the same thing with the help of 400 into 400 into 3, because we have R, G and B values. Okay, so this is how we differentiate between a grayscale image and a color image. Okay, now next. So let us now see how a neural network is going to recognize a handwritten digit. Okay, so let us take an example that we want to build a neural network which is going to recognize the handwritten digit. For example, let us take the 4 by 4 pixel image. If you see here, this is the 4 by 4 pixel image, that is, it is having 4 rows and 4 columns. So that is the reason we call it as 4 by 4 pixel image as input. Okay, so what is the representation of this image? I mean, what is this image? Which number does this image have?
1, sir. 1.
1, right? So our neural network also should classify this image as what?
1 only, sir.
1 only, right? So now let us see what happens here. If we use a feed forward neural network to represent this image, or if we give the feed forward neural network this particular image, what the feed forward neural network is going to take? It means we cannot directly feed this image into the feed forward neural network. Okay, we know that. So how a feed forward neural network is going to process the input? It is going to divide the given image into vectors. Okay, so what it is the feed forward neural network is going to do? A feed forward network takes the vector of inputs. That is, in order to represent this input complete image, that is one ane image ikkada undi chusara. So in order to represent this image, the feed forward neural network must take this in the form of a vectors only. See, if you on the right side, see, this is row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. Now this complete image is flattened into the vector representation. Okay, so this 2D representation of the input image is flattened into the vector representation, and now we can give this input as input features. See, we initially saw this input vector, right? So this one. So we are giving input features x1, x2, x3, x4, so on up to xn. So we cannot directly feed a 2D image into the feed forward neural network, and that is the reason we are flattening our 2D array of pixel values into vectors, and then we are giving this input to a multi-layer perceptron network or feed forward neural network. So every pixel is now acting as an input feature, okay, or input simply. So the first pixel is x1, second pixel x2, third one x3, fourth one x4, so on up to the 16th pixel as x16. Next, so now we are giving this input, that is the input image 1, handwritten input image 1. Okay, and now how this feed forward neural network is taking? It is dividing it into vectors, and each and every value in that particular vector or each and every pixel in that particular vector is being fed as an input feature to the hidden layer, right? So these are all the inputs, that is from x1 to x16, these are all the input features which we are feeding to the hidden layer. And now the hidden layer takes all these values and it is going to give us an output in the output layer. Okay, but what happens actually here? Here we are taking a complete 2D representation of the handwritten image. Now we are dividing that input image into vectors. Okay. So when we are dividing this input image into vectors, do we have any relationship between these pixels? That is, I'll ask you a question. Now, can you all, anyone identify what kind of digit is this one in this representation? I have divided or I have converted the 2D image into a vector representation. Can anyone tell what this digit is going to tell us? Or can anyone tell what is this image? Or can anyone tell what this image is representing? If I show you this image, okay, when can you immediately say that this image belongs to which digit? 1 kada. ఇక్కడ మనం ఇలా వెక్టర్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్ లో చూపించడం వల్ల సో మనం మళ్ళీ మన బ్రెయిన్ లో రీస్ట్రక్చర్ చేసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. అది దట్ ఈస్ వీఆర్ మిస్సింగ్ ద స్పేషియల్ రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ దీస్ పిక్సెల్స్, రైట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ డ్రాబ్యాక్ if we are using feed forward neural networks to deal with image related data. So feed forward neural networks ki image related data iste aa image emuntundi, we have spatial relationship between one pixel and other pixel. Only if you can preserve that spatial relationship, then only we can identify what image is that. But for feed forward neural networks, we cannot directly give that particular image. We have to compulsorily divide it into vector representation. That is, after dividing the input 2D image into vector representation, what happens? We lose the spatial relationship. So when we lose the spatial relationship, we cannot be sure to which digit this image is going to belong to. So this is the main problem with feed forward neural networks. So if you see here, this is the image of 2. The question we have asked here, right? So this is the image of 2. So if you see, if I show you like this, now we can easily say this is 2. But if we have done this in a vector representation, we cannot immediately say that this is an image of 2. Okay. So this is where the convolutional neural networks, CNNs, come into existence. So I hope all of you have understood why we are studying about convolutional neural networks, right? Now let us see what are convolutional neural networks and why these convolutional neural networks are important, or why these convolutional neural networks are popular. Okay, now let us now discuss about some theoretical concepts about convolutional neural networks and some history related to convolutional neural networks. Okay, convolutional neural networks are simply they are called as convnets, or they can also be otherwise called as CNNs. Okay, so these are the category of the neural networks which are very effective when we use these networks in the areas as image recognition and image classification. Okay, so when we are dealing with images, just now we discussed, no, when we are dealing with images, the spatial relationship between the pixels in the image is very much needed. Okay, so when we are dealing with the image related data, all the time we are going to prefer the convolutional neural networks. Okay, so now what does these convolutional neural networks are doing? They are successful in identifying the faces and objects, different types of traffic signals, and all these they are able to identify successfully. Apart from that, providing the vision to the robots and self-driving cars. So in self-driving cars, what it should do? The camera should capture the images, the camera should capture the video. Okay, so in all those kinds of things we are going to use the convolutional neural networks. Okay, so the CNNs have become on the go model for solving the challenges which are related to image data. And also remember, the use of these convolutional neural networks has been extended to video analytics also. So in the self-driving cars, what it has to do, when the car is moving, it has to process the video, right? So it has to process the video and it has to give the input to the network, that is whenever a human comes, or whenever another car or whenever another animal comes in between the road, or what is the distance between this car and the other car on the lane, and whether it is following the lane or not. So what kind of objects are coming on the right side and left side, back side and front side. So all this detection of faces, objects, traffic signs and so on, for all these things we are going to use the convolutional neural networks. So finally, what I mean to say is that any data which is having a spatial relationship is able to be used by CNNs. So CNNs are the best neural networks which are used to apply the problems, or which are used to solve the problems which include spatial relationships. Okay, I hope this is clear of why the CNNs are popular or why the CNNs are important. Okay, now let us now see. If you see here, there are three different images visible on the screen. So we have given the images to the neural network. Now the neural networks are successful in generating captions. Okay, when we give an image, it is successful in generating captions. So what does this neural network CNN has produced for the first image? It has produced the following caption: a soccer player is kicking a soccer ball. For the second image, a street sign on a pole in front of a building. See how particular it is about. Okay, so and we have the third image, a couple of giraffes standing next to each other. Okay, it has missed about the information about the tree here, right? A couple of giraffes standing next to each other, and in between we have a tree. Okay, right? So this information it has missed. Okay, so it is all about the efficiency of the convolutional neural networks. We'll be discussing later. Okay, so these are the captions generated by the convolutional neural networks after giving these images. Okay, so let us see the next image. Okay, so if you see in this next image, this convolutional neural network is able to identify the objects in a given image. Okay, so this one is about not about identifying the object, but identifying the object and generating a caption. But here the convolutional neural network is going to identify what objects are present in the given image:
car, person, dog,
car, person, dog, horse and other
horse,
person, right? And in the right side image we have a dog, and another
and
one we
cat.
have a cat, right?
Cat.
So the convolutional neural networks are also able to not just giving the caption, but they are able to identify the objects in the given image. So if you see here, the first object is car. It has identified that this is a car with a probability of 1. Okay, and then it has identified the image of a dog with a probability of 0.997, and then it has identified the image of a horse with a probability of 0.993. So like that, it has identified what objects or what persons or what animals are present in the given image. Okay, so lately they have also observed that these convolutional neural networks are also effective in the natural language processing task, that is NLP tasks. So here these CNNs are able to do the sentence classification also. Okay, so these are all the different types of applications where we can employ the convolutional neural networks. Okay, next we already discussed about the advantage of the deep learning networks or deep neural networks, and I already told that two important things we have to consider when we are discussing about deep neural networks. Deep neural networks has to work with large information. So whenever the input data is increasing, the computation cost and the memory cost is also increasing, right? కానీ మనం కంప్లీట్ డేటా సెట్ తో మనం ట్రైన్ చేయకపోతే మనకి కావాల్సిన రిజల్ట్స్ వస్తాయా? రావు. అలాగని ఇప్పుడు మనం కంప్యూటేషన్ పరంగా ఇది చాలా కాంప్లెక్స్ గా ఉంది, మెమొరీ రిలేటెడ్ గా చాలా కాంప్లెక్స్ గా ఉంది అని వదిలేస్తే our network cannot successfully identify, or our network cannot successfully generate the captions, right? So in order to avoid this problem, or in order to fight with this obstacle, we'll see how these convolutional neural networks are helping us to bring down these computational cost and memory cost. Okay, so reducing the computations, reducing the memory cost, and thereby generating the better results. So how these convolutional neural networks are helpful for us to do all these kinds of operations efficiently. So another we are going to discuss in our discussion of convolutional neural networks. Okay, next. So let us now discuss about the first and foremost convolutional neural network, which is nothing but the LeNet architecture. So it has been finalized in the 1990s, early 1990s. Okay. So let us now see the history of this LeNet architecture. The LeNet is one of the first convolutional neural networks which helped the field of deep learning to go in a faster pace. Okay. So the work has been done by a scientist called Jan LeCun. Okay. So on the basis of his name only, the network developed by Jan LeCun, the LeNet architecture has been named. Okay. So it has been named as LeNet architecture. So now this Jan LeCun, on his name, the LeNet 5 architecture has been developed. Why the LeNet 5 means he has developed many successful previous iterations, and the final successful iteration has been named as LeNet 5, and these iterations have been and he is working on these iterations since the year 1988. Okay, originally the LeNet architecture is used for character recognition task. Remember this one. Okay, originally the LeNet architecture is used for character recognition task. So at that moment of time during 1990s, so the problem at that moment of time is reading the zip codes and reading the digits. That is automatic reading of when you have something on a paper, so it has to automatically read the zip code or it has to identify the digit. Okay, so mainly the LeNet architecture is used for character recognition tasks in the earlier times. Okay, so later what happened is that the LeNet architecture has been developed to identify the image also, that is to identify the image, to identify the objects in the image, to get the captions of that particular image and so on. Okay, so several new architectures have already have been developed based upon this LeNet architecture only. Okay, but the main concept of these convolutional neural networks mainly depend upon the basic information of LeNet architecture. So if we understand about the basic LeNet architecture, then it will be easy for us to understand all the next advancements after the LeNet architecture. Okay, next. So this is a simple convolutional neural network. Don't get confused that we have different types of boxes here, we have different types of things here and so on. It is very easy if we understand it step by step. If you see here, this is a simple convolutional neural network. What is the first image? What do you observe in the first image? We have two boards, right?
Okay.
So this convolutional
Yes,
neural network
yes,
has
sir.
been given an image of two boards. Okay. So finally in the output
Yes.
layer. So now can we say that it has successfully identified the object in our given image?
Yes, sir, but
Yes.
we can't observe remaining
Yeah.
items, sir.
But
Only
we
both.
can't observe the other objects, that is dog, cat and bird. Input image lo unnaya nanna? Levu kada. A dog, cat and boat are not
Yes,
present
sir.
in the input image. We have only boat, but it is successful in identifying that there is boat with 0.94 probability, but it also detected that there is a dog, cat
Yes,
and
sir.
bird. అంటే అందులో ఉన్న ఫీచర్స్ బట్టి ఆ స్పేషియల్ రిలేషన్షిప్ బట్టి డాగ్, క్యాట్, బర్డ్ కూడా ఉన్నాయని చెప్పింది, బట్ ఒరిజినల్లీ దే ఆర్ నాట్ ప్రెసెంట్. సో హియర్ ద కన్వల్యూషనల్ network is going to give us not just the identification of an object, but it also give us the with what probability it is going to be sure about that particular object. So in convolutional neural networks, we
Yes.
have different types of operations. Okay, that is we have convolution operation, and then we have the ReLU operation, and then we have pooling operation. We can have a combination of convolution and
Fully
pooling,
connected.
and then we pass this information through fully connected network, and finally we'll get the output predictions. Okay, so now so this is the basic architecture of a convolutional neural network. I did not still tell about what actually, I mean, what are the components of convolutional neural networks. I just told about how convolutional neural networks are going to look like. That's it. Okay, so now let us see what does these convolutional neural networks consist of. Okay, but one point we have to remember is the sum of all the probabilities of all the objects in the given image must be always equal to 1. So if you add 0.94, 0.04, 0.01 and 0.02, finally the probability will be 1. Okay, so that one we have to remember. Next, okay, let us see. There are 4 main operations in the convolutional neural network.
Sir, convolution, sir.
Second operation,
Non-linearity, ReLU.
okay. Third operation, pooling or subsampling. What is the fourth one?
Classification, sir, or fully connected layer.
Okay. So now if we see here, can you tell me about ReLU? Did we come across any time about the ReLU function? So if you guys do not have an understanding of ReLU, just please refer to ReLU activation function. In the previous lectures we have discussed. Okay. Now, so there are 4 main operations in the convolutional neural network. The first one is the convolution operation, very important. And next, applying the non-linearity on this convolution operation. And then the third operation is called as pooling, or it is also called as subsampling. And the last one is classification. So these are the 4 main important operations in the convolutional neural network. Okay. So whatever convolutional neural network you take, that is whatever variations of convolutional neural network we take, these are the basic building blocks of every convolutional neural network. So if we clearly have an understanding of what are these 4 different operations in convolutional neural network, then we can understand the other types of convolutional neural networks also. Clear? Next. Now, so I already told you that the convolutional neural networks are mainly used when we are dealing with the problems of images, right? So presently the trend is computer vision. So all the research is now happening on computer vision only. So some of the computer vision problems we have are image classification. The second one is object detection. And the third one is neural style transfer. You know what is image classification, right? So whether it is a dog or whether it is a cat and so on. And the second one, don't get confused between image classification and object detection. Image classification means we'll give an input image. We'll ask whether that input image is dog or not, or whether that input image is cat or not, whether that input image is 1 or not. Okay, that is classification. But object detection means we'll give an input image and the network must be able to detect what are the objects present in the given input image. Say we have boat, cat, dog. There are different types of objects in our given image, right? So this is called object detection. There is third type of thing called neural style transfer. So what we actually do in neural style transfer is we have one image in one color and one format. We have another image in another color and another format. So after sending these images through the network, it is going to combine these 2 images. That is, the color of this image and that image will be in the final image, and some features of these 2 images will be combined, and you will be getting a final image. So this is called neural style transfer. Okay. So one major problem with the computer vision challenge, computer vision problem is that the input data is really big. This is what we are telling, right? So when the input data is really big, computational cost and memory cost for this input data is also more. That is, let us say we take an image of size 68 into 68 into 3. Okay. So the total number of features the neural network has to deal with becomes 12,288. Okay. So if we have another image of size some 720 into 720 into 3, we have even bigger input features, right? That is, the more amount of images we have, the more amount of features the neural network has to work with, right? So what does this do? Finally, it will result in more computational power requirements and more memory requirements. So where we are not going to deal with all these different kinds of things. So in order to elevate this problem, or in order to deal with this problem, now in convolutional neural networks, we are going to use the first step called the convolution step. So now we told that the first step in convolution neural networks is the convolution operation. Okay. So basing upon this convolution operation only, these networks have derived their name. Okay. The second point I'm reading. Okay. The primary purpose of the convolution in case of the convolutional neural networks is to extract the features from the input image. This is the very important step. Okay. So why we are using the operation of convolution means, when we give the input image, now after applying the convolution operation, the features will be extracted from the input image. Not just extracting the features, but the convolution operation is going to preserve the spatial relationship between pixels. This is the reason why we are not using feed forward neural networks for image related data. Why convolutional neural networks are used for image data, but why feed forward neural networks are not used with image data? Because the convolution operation is going to preserve the spatial relationship between pixels in the image. How does this preserve the spatial relationship? It preserves this by learning the image features using the small squares of input data. I'll tell you what are these small squares of input data anyway shortly. Okay, so by observing the small squares of input data, the convolution operation is going to preserve the spatial relationship between the pixels. Okay, now let us see how the edges are being detected. Features detect chestundani cheptunnam kada ippude. Okay, the convolution operation in convolutional neural network is going to learn the features of the image basing upon edge detection. So how this edge detection is going to be done? If you remember about our previous discussion, I have shown you one dog image and one cat image. So here we discussed that when we give an input image, the network classifies whether the input image is dog or cat basing upon different layers, right? So in the input layer, first of all, we will identify what are all the edges, and in the next layer we will detect basing upon these edges, we will combine these shapes and edges, and in the coming to the next deeper layer, we identify what are these features consist of. So whether these features belong to cat or dog, and thereby in the output layer it detects or it classifies whether the input image belongs to cat or dog. So this is how the edge detection takes place. Okay, so the first layers, the top layers or the early layers are going to identify the edges, or they are going to detect the edges from the input image. Next, the deeper layers are going to identify the cause of the object. Okay, in the first layer they are going to identify the edges or detect the edges, and then they combine these edges to detect what is the cause of this object. That is whether this is a tail, or whether this is an ear, or whether this is a nose. Or, and now coming to the next even more deeper layers, now they detect the cause of the complete object. Now that is, they are going to combine all these intermediate objects, that is ears, eyes, nose, and they combine all these objects into a complete object, and finally they detect whether that is a person's face, or whether that is a dog's image, or whether that is a cat's image. So this is how edge detection is going to work out. Okay, we'll see a more detailed example here.
There is a cycle and 5 persons. Sir.
Cycle and 5 persons. There is some kind of a bird also present, the sky, the land, and there is some kind of grill, right? So here, yes, when we provide this image, okay, to the convolutional neural network, first of all, it is going to identify the edges. Okay, so there are two types of edges, Amma. The first type of edges are vertical edges, and the second type of edges are horizontal edges. So first of all, whenever we give an image to a convolutional neural network, it is going to identify the edge. The first and foremost thing is to detect these edges. Now let us see what are the edges in this particular image. If you see, we have given the input as this image. On the top we have vertical edges, and on the bottom we have horizontal edges. Now, are you able to identify the vertical edges and horizontal edges in the given two images?
Yes, sir.
So first and foremost thing in CNNCs, they are going to identify the edges, that is the vertical edges and horizontal edges. Next, the question is, how do we detect these edges? We are saying that the convolutional neural networks in the convolution operation, we are going to detect the horizontal and vertical edges, right? So in order to identify these edges, we are going to do an operation called convolution operation. So let us now see what is a convolution operation. Very, very important step. Don't deviate. Okay. So if you see, we have an image. What is this image? 6x6 grayscale image, and which is having only one channel. Okay. So those are the pixel values of a grayscale image, which is having a 6x6 grid. Okay. So the values are 3, 0, 1, 2, 7, 4, and so on. Now, This is actually an image. Okay, don't think that these are numbers. Okay. But now we have converted this image into a 6 by 6 grayscale pixel values. Okay, Nana, but this is an image. Okay, now what we are doing, we are performing an operation called convolution operation on this image, and now we are trying to identify the edges. Okay, so now let us see how we are going to perform convolution operation. Okay, so now this operation we are going to call it as convolution operation. Now see, this is an input 6 by 6 image. Now we introduce another concept called filter. I'll tell you why this filter is used and what is this filter is also called as in other words. Okay, say this is our original image. Now what we will do, we will convolve this 6 by 6 matrix with a 3 by 3 filter. That is, we convolve this 6 by 6 matrix with a 3 by 3 filter. Okay, so after convolving this 6 by 6 matrix image matrix with 3 by 3 filter, now we will get what image? 4 by 4 image. Okay, we are getting 4 by 4 image. So we shall see now how we are getting this 4 by 4 image by convolving a 6 by 6 image with the 3 by 3 filter. Okay, ఈ 4 by 4 image లో first value ఏముంది నాన్న?
-5, sir.
-5. So now we have to know how do we get this -5 value. Let us see. Okay, first, so 6 by 6 image undi, 3 by 3 filter undi. Now if you see here, when we are taking the 3 by 3 filter, basing upon the filter, we will also select the 3 by 3 sub image of the given original image. So first 3 by 3 filter తీసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి we are going to take the 3 by 3 submatrix of the 6 by 6 image. So that is 301, 158, 272. Now what we are going to do, see on the extreme right, 301, 158, 272. Now what are the filter values? 10 minus 1, 10 minus 1, 10 minus 1. So what we do, we take the first 3 by 3 matrix from the 6 by 6 image, and now we multiply this 3 by 3 matrix with the 3 by 3 filter, and we will take the element wise product of these values. That is, if you see in the bottom, చూడండి నాన్న, 3 into 1 అంటే ఎలా, రైట్ సైడ్ ఇమేజ్ లో చూడండి బ్లూ కలర్ లో 3 into 1 plus 0 into 0 plus 1 into minus 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 5 into 0 plus 8 into minus 1 plus 2 into 1 plus 7 into 0 plus 2 into minus 1. So after doing all the element wise product of these values and summing them, we'll get a value called -5. So this is how we got this first element as -5. Second value ఎలా వస్తుందో చెప్పు. Okay, so 012 589 725. So for that we'll take the second element. Third element కావాలంటే
127893251.
Exactly. So this is how we are going to get the values of the 4 by 4 element finally. So finally, convolving a 6 by 6 input image with a 3 by 3 filter now gave us an output of 4 by 4. Okay, so now let us consider another example. So we are telling that we are going to do edge detection, that is we are going to do horizontal edge detection and we are going to do vertical edge detection also. If you consider another example, we have some values. ఇక్కడ చూసాను అన్న, కొన్ని వాల్యూస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఏంటి ఆ వాల్యూస్ చెప్పమ్మా. 153 ఉన్నావా?
52, sir.
నువ్వు కాదు, ఇది అయిపోయింది. 153 absent. 154
119, sir.
ఏంటన్నా? 154 absent. 155 absent. 156 absent. 57 58 59. ఎవరు మాట్లాడుతుంది? రోల్ నెంబర్. హలో, 59
158, sir.
158 చెప్పినా. ఇమేజ్ ఏం కనిపిస్తుంది నీకు ఇక్కడ?
158, sir.
ఓకే, చెప్పు, ఇమేజ్ ఏం కనిపిస్తుంది నీకు? వాట్ ఇమేజ్ ఇస్ దేర్ ఆన్ ద స్క్రీన్? So you are not attentive, I hope. Okay, 159 absent. 160 చెప్పినా అన్న ఇమేజ్ ఏం కనిపిస్తుంది స్క్రీన్ మీద? ఓకే, గ్రే స్కేల్ ఇమేజ్ ఆఫ్ పిక్సెల్ వాల్యూస్.
6x matrix.
ఎవరు చెప్తున్నారు?
6x matrix.
116 చెప్పమన్నాను. ఇందాక నుంచి నువ్వు చెప్పకుండా ఏం చేస్తున్నారో 159 నువ్వు చెప్పేది. ఓకే 160 నువ్వు చెప్పినా అన్న. సో 10 10 10 కనిపిస్తున్నాయా నాన్న నీకు? సో ఫిల్టర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ చెప్పు.
1 0 minus 1 1 0 minus 1 1 0.
Okay, so after convolving we got, what are the values we got?
0 30 30 0.
Okay,
0,
so like
30.
that we got, right? So just below those pixel representations we have another images. అవి ఏంటో చెప్పగలుగుతావా?
Grayscale image.
గ్రే స్కేల్ ఇమేజ్ లో పిక్సెల్ ఇంటెన్సిటీ కనిపిస్తుందా నీకు? ఓకే నానా.
Yes, sir.
సో ఈ ఫస్ట్ 3 కాలమ్స్ ని కంప్లీట్ వైట్ కలర్ లో ఉంది, లాస్ట్ 3 కాలమ్స్ లైట్ గ్రే కలర్ లో ఉంది, అవునా? అండ్ ఇక్కడ చూస్తే ఫిల్టర్ లో ఆల్ వన్స్ చూస్తే వైట్ కలర్, ఆల్ జీరోస్ గ్రే కలర్, అండ్ ఆల్ మైనస్ వన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ బ్లాక్ కలర్. సో ఫైనల్లీ వి గాట్ అన్ అవుట్పుట్. ఇక్కడ చూస్తే వీ హ్యావ్ ఐడెంటిఫై ద వెర్టికల్ ఎడ్జ్. కనపడుతుందా నాన్న? సో ఇన్పుట్ ఇమేజ్ ని ఫిల్టర్ తో మనం కన్వాల్వ్ చేయడం వల్ల వి గాట్ ఏ వర్టికల్ ఎడ్జ్. ఓకే, అర్థమైందా? సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి హారిజాంటల్ ఎడ్జ్ కానీ వెర్టికల్ ఎడ్జ్ కానీ కావాలంటే మనం దేని మీద డిపెండ్ అవ్వాలన్నా? వాట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ ఫ్యాక్టర్ బేసింగ్ అపాన్ విచ్ వన్ విల్ గెట్ వెదర్ we have an horizontal edge and vertical edge?
Pixel values.
పిక్సెల్ వాల్యూసే. ఆ ఇన్పుట్ ఇమేజ్ ని దేంతో కన్వాల్వ్ చేస్తున్నాం? Filter. Okay, so basing upon the filter values only, so by changing the values in the filter matrix we will get either the horizontal edges or vertical edges. Okay, so these higher pixels represent the brighter portion and lower pixel values represent the darker portion. So this is how we are able to identify the vertical edge. Okay, basing upon the filter values, basing upon the pixel values in the filter, we can detect either it is a horizontal edge or we can get the horizontal edge or vertical edge from the input image. Next, so if you see more edge detection examples here, first filter input image lo ఏ ఫీచర్ ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయడానికి, ఏ ఎడ్జెస్ ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయడానికి
vertical edge, sir.
Vertical edge, correct. Next, second image,
Horizontal edge, sir.
okay, so basing upon the filter values only we can be able to identify or detect the whether it is vertical edge or horizontal edge. Clear nana? Okay, good. Okay, so here some of the commonly used filters are Sobel filter and Scar filter. So ఈ Sobel filter లో మీరు చూస్తే గనక 101 20 minus 2 10 10 minus 1, and Scar filter లో if you see 30 minus 3 10 minus 10 30 minus 3. So here more concentration is given on the central pixel values. If you see here, more weight is given on the central pixel, that is 20 minus 2 compared to other values. Okay, so like this we can use different types of filters to get the different edges, to detect the different features of the input image. Not this these filters, we can also use our own filters, okay, to generate the different features from the given input image. Okay, clear? Next, so now let us now discuss about some important terminology in CNNs. So till now we have discussed about this 3x3 matrix, right? We called it as a filter, right? So we also call these filter as a kernel, or we also call this filter as a feature detector. And next, now ippudu we have an input image of 6x6 image kada, and now we have a 3x3 filter kada. So after convolving this 6x6 image with 3x3 filter, we got a 4x4 output matrix kada. So dani we call it as convolved feature or activation map or feature map. So it is very important to note that the filters acts as the feature detectors. That is what we have discussed till now, right? So basing upon the filters only we will get different types of features from the original input image. So now let us see how the different values of the filter matrix is going to produce different feature maps. Okay, so now different values of the filter matrix will produce different feature maps. Let us take the input image as this one. So after applying the different filters on this input image, we will get different feature maps. What are those? If you see here, this is our operation, this is our original image. After applying the filter, that is identity matrix, we'll get the convolved image like this. And after applying another filter on, that is we'll get different edges. Okay, and after applying the last one, fourth one, see 0 minus 1 0 minus 1 5 minus 1 0 minus 1 0, we have the sharpened value of the original input image. And then we have another kind of box blur, and then we have another kind of Gaussian blur, and so on. Okay, so these are the different representations of the feature maps. That is, we get the different feature maps basing upon the filters we are applying to the given input images. Clear? Next. So
Yes,
we
sir.
have same input image, and చూడండి ఒకసారేమో రెడ్ కలర్ లో చెప్తుంది వన్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫిల్టర్, గ్రీన్ కలర్ లో తిరుగుతుంది ఇంకొక టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఫిల్టర్. సో బేసింగ్ అపాన్ ఫిల్టర్ ఓన్లీ కదా డిఫరెంట్ ఫీచర్స్ అనేవి మనకు వస్తాయి ఇన్పుట్ ఇమేజ్ నుంచి అని చెప్తున్నాము, అవునా? సో దిస్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ the different types of features we get from the same image by applying different types of filters. Okay, so now the filter with red outline slides over the given input image, that is it is going to do convolution operation to produce one feature map, and the same image, if it is given with another filter, produces another feature map. Okay, or another kind of output. Okay, so this is how we are going to get different types of features. We are going to identify different types of edges basing upon the filter values. Different types of filters we are going to apply on a given input image. It is important to note that the convolution operation captures the local dependencies in a given image. Okay, and also different filters generate the different types of feature maps. So finally, in practice, now we get a doubt that how we are going to give the values of these filters. So CNNs are going to learn the values of these filters on their own when the network is being trained. Okay, initially we'll give some values, and by doing back propagation and so on, it is going to adjust all the values of these filters. Okay, the values of these filters, but still we need to specify, it is our duty to specify how many number of filters we need and what is the size of the filter, whether it is 3 by 3 or 4 by 4, and we have to specify the architecture. We have, again, in CNNs we have different types of architectures, later we'll be discussing. So before the training process, we have to specify the total number of filters, the filter size, the architecture of the network. So these things we have to specify, and the values in those filters will be adjusted during the training process. So what we can say, the more number of filters we have, the more number of features we get from the image, and the better our network is going to performing in recognizing the patterns in the unseen images. Okay, so by rigorously training our image, and later if we give a new image, okay, then our network is going to perform better in the unseen images. That is, it is going to recognize the different patterns in the unseen images if we train it with a correct filter. So these correct filter values will be learned during the training process. So till now we have discussed about the convolution operation only. If you see, this is our convolution neural network, and the main operations are convolution and then nonlinearity, pooling or subsampling, classification. So now we have completed the convolution operation on our convolutional neural networks, and in the next class we will be discussing about all the other different components or other different operations of convolution neural network.